everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching The Political Vigilante. So we saw Trump's basically his Bay of Pigs. He sent that team down to Venezuela with that private security company where the owner has been a security guard for Trump during his 2016 campaign. They're all ex-military. It blew up in their faces. We're talking about Obama's Fast and Furious scams, but there's even more. Obama did even more. His lineage, I'm so tired of the left talking about how great Obama was. Oh, he's got no scandal, only the tan suit. Like, that's such a joke. This was submitted by Patreon supporter Eric Husseau. Great way to support the show is do what Eric's doing, is go to patreon.com/GrahamElwood, where you can submit articles like this and participate in making Gotham great again. This was in Mint Press News in January of 2017, right before Trump was sworn in. Obama's legacy in Latin America: militarization, right-wing coups, and the rule of Wall Street. With just hours left for the Obama administration, independent geopolitical analyst Eric Draitser, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, reviews the president's legacy of destabilizing, militarizing, and exploiting Latin America. Gotta love Mint Press News. So let's go into it. And I'm going to put the link is in the show notes. Read this whole article because he goes, again, Mint Press does great work. It's very detailed. I'm going to go over the broad strokes of it, but it just shows. And I've been talking about this for a while. I mean, specific to Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, in the late 90s said he wasn't giving up. He was going to nationalize his oil. And that, when he started doing that, that's all of a sudden after 9/11, suddenly he's part of the terrorist axis of evil. What? And Bush tried to do a coup down there in 2002. And we know this. When I hear the left talk about how great Obama was, it's maddening because Obama basically just kept all the awful shit that George Bush was doing, all the awful shit that Democrats were so critical of George W. for, but then just gave Obama a pass. Or he would do that thing of kind of stopping it, but not really, and never, Obama's fighting the Republican. That's what Obama was so skilled at. Pretending like he was fighting for lefty stuff and going to clean out all of George W. Bush's messes, but just kind of going on the side behind closed doors like, keep that going. Keep that going. Latin America, no different. In the summer of 2009, Manuel Zelaya, the country's democratically elected left-wing president. Oh, does that sound familiar? Every time we hear democratically elected and they're lefty, socialist, democratic socialist leaders who won't give up their natural resources, suddenly a coup happens. Suddenly the CIA just happens to show up. We've been doing this since the 50s. I've talked about this before. Mossadegh was elected in Iran in 1953. Democratically elected, wanted to nationalize Iran's oil. The newly formed CIA, formerly the OSS, came in and went, whoop, let's start a coup, and put the Shah of Iran in there, who was a butcher and tortured his people. His people hated him. That helped actually foster Islamic fundamentalism, which, by the way, we need. What? Terrorists are our enemy, Graham. No, the State Department, the oil, and the CIA people, we need radicals in the Middle East. Midwest too. They're a little nutty. Trust me, I'm from Wisconsin. But in the Middle East, we need radicals to say, big bad enemy, keep America scared. We were playing that scared card well before 9/11. So now let's move back. I'm just showing you the pattern. So what I'm showing you what Obama did in Latin America is nothing different than what all these presidents, Republican and Democrat, have been doing for decades. Obama is not a hero. He's awful. This democratically elected left-wing president was removed from power in a midnight coup orchestrated by then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and her cronies. Really, Hillary was involved? But I was with her, girl power. Oh, she was brutal. She was brutal. I wonder how many women and children Hillary Clinton helped order to die because of her. I wish I could sit the like Clinton feminists down and go, do you know how many women she helped get, killed with the American military as Secretary of State? Do you understand this? Do you think the people in the Middle East, when Obama became president, were like, yay, now we're getting drone striked by a black president with a Muslim name? They didn't care. There's no difference. And there's no difference in Latin America. And while Obama's tepid condemnation of the coup elicited cheers from many liberals in the contrast to the Bush administration's loving embrace of the coup against Hugo Chavez in Venezuela in 2002. So Bush tried to get the coup going, and Bush just says, yeah, I did that. Obama helps this coup thanks to Hillary Clinton in Venezuela, but then publicly goes, boys, coups are bad, because he knows how to like give the left little samples of, oh, anti-war. The reality is, as with all things Obama, it was mere words, like hope and change. The support of the president and his henchwoman was the driving force behind the coup. That's Obama's whole 8 years. He talked in his campaign, clean energy, blah, blah, blah. He opened up the Arctic to drilling twice. He blocked, very publicly blocked the Keystone Pipeline and said, those darn Republicans are trying to build this pipeline. But then he left it open for them to build it. So again, it was just a gesture. It was just a fake gesture. That's all it was. Obama had 8 years in the White House. He had his first 2 years, he had the House and the Senate. He could have said, But instead, he made the Bush tax cuts permanent. So all that nonsense, oh, those Republicans and their tax breaks, I'm going to take care of the people. No, he didn't. He took care of Wall Street, who's also benefiting, as we're going to learn more from this article, in Latin America by ramping up war. Gee, weird. It's the same pattern. And while everyone's talking about Iraq and Afghanistan, this is happening. As Clinton bagman Lanny Davis openly stated in an interview weeks after the coup, my clients represent SEAL, Honduras chapter of the Business Council of Latin America. I do not represent the government and do not talk to interim president Micheletti. My main contacts are Camilo Adela and Jorge Kenahuati. They're both billionaires. I'm proud to represent businessmen who are committed to the rule of law. That's right there. So this coup isn't for they always sell it to the American people, and the corporate media feeds it because they're part of this, because Goldman Sachs, who's involved in this, we're going to find out in a second, and the military-industrial complex, which buys ad time on the corporate media in the United States. It's like when John Bolton said, well, we need to go into Venezuela because it'll open up American oil companies can go do business down there. John Bolton just said it. That's the difference. The Republicans just say it. Oh, we're just going to bomb them and take their money. We need the resources. The Democrats, oh, peace and freedom. So that those people they were just talking about are precisely the people backed by the Obama administration wielding power in Honduras. Today, through a violent right-wing government that assassinates indigenous leaders and human rights defenders. That's Obama. Hope and change. Trump's awful. We got to get Trump out of there. Biden was VP during all of this. But again, Americans have been fed we're in such an abusive relationship with these two parties. Americans, we're like in an alcoholic household. And the parents are the Republicans and the Democrats. And they're violent and abusive, and they blame each other, and they get us to fight with each other. When the reality is, we should all go, no, they're the problem. These two corrupt parties and the corporations that they actually serve, they're the problem. They're the problem. Here's what the North American Congress on Latin America reported. The steady increase of U.S. assistance to Honduran National Armed Forces has, if anything, been an indicator of tacit U.S. support, but the U.S. role in militarization of national police force has been direct as well. In 2011 and 2012, the Drug Enforcement Administration deployed advisory support teams, FAST, which had previously carried out military-style missions in Afghanistan. So basically, and this is what Obama did his whole time. Oh, we're going to pull the troops out and made these big shows, but then kept the special op and the drone strike wars going all over the world, including Latin America. So they set up camp in Honduras to train local counter-narcotics police unit and help plan and execute drug interdiction operations. Supported by U.S. helicopters mounted with high-caliber machine guns, these operations were nearly indistinguishable from military missions, and locals routinely referred to the DEA and Honduran police agents as soldiers. Did you know we were running military operations in Honduras in 2011 and 12? I didn't. Oh, thanks, Obama. But his tweets were nice. Remember, his tweets were nice? And he gave really nice speeches. Trump's tweets are offensive, and he says dumb, crazy things. Yeah, Trump says dumb, crazy things. But this is what this guy was doing. This notion that Biden is better is mind-boggling. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. But the American people want to keep voting for the lesser of two evils, which is still evil. Vote third party. Go independent. Or just keep letting this happen. This is Obama. Nice, hope and change, so presidential, classy, bringing dignity back to the White House. How much dignity was brought to Honduras? How many poor working class Hondurans had to suffer from the brutality of the American military machine, who was propping up a right-wing dictatorial government? How hope and changey and polite was that? Oh, that's right, America. Unless it happens in our front yard, it's not our problem. Obama was nice. Perhaps it is no coincidence that the Obama administration, too, has been dominated from the beginning by the same types of financiers. Often the very same companies such as Goldman Sachs. Boy, we've heard their name. Goldman Sachs, by the way, has been in every presidential cabinet since Reagan. But please tell me how different the two parties are. I love hearing that. It's a fun game. It's great. And which is your favorite professional wrestler? Oh, yeah. That's great. The one guy with the crazy thing, that guy, that's your favorite. Oh, I know. It's nuts. These companies, such as Goldman Sachs, that control the coup against Brazil, the not-so-invisible hand of finance capital is now coiled around the neck of Brazil. Again, Lula was overwhelmingly elected. He was a populist. He was left. He was socialist. Oh, not going to play ball with the corporations, so we got to get him out of there. During Obama's tenure, and under former commander of the U.S. Special Operations Command William McRaven, Special Forces troop deployments ballooned to more than 65,000, with many spread throughout Latin America. I had no idea. Thank you, Eric Yusso, for sending me this through Patreon. This is why I love doing this show. I didn't know this, but one of you, because you're all political vigilantes, supports my Patreon, and you send me this, so now I can send it out to a bigger audience. 65,000 spread throughout Latin America. What was our peak in Afghanistan? 30, 40,000? Oh, gee, I wonder that a lot of the narcotics comes out of Latin America. I wonder if that had anything to do with it. Nah. It's not like Gary Webb uncovered that and then committed suicide by shooting himself in the head twice. True story. Obama signed an executive order on January 13th declaring both Venezuela and Cuba national security threats, despite no evidence of any such threat. Yeah, he kind of opened up Cuba. That's Obama. These little gestures this little, he's so deaf, so much better than George W. Bush. But the left is so dumb, they're so dumb that now they long for the days of George W. Bush. He's on Ellen, he's cuddly. Ellen, who's a CIA asset that we proved in the Sony wiki, the leaks, the emails that got leaked in Sony. We saw that Ellen she's a CIA asset. The cuddly little war criminal that's good buddies with Michelle Obama. That's why she loves George W. Bush, because her husband did the same thing. And I don't like Trump. He's awful. I don't want to see him in the White House. But Joe Biden? Trump is the symptom of a broken political system. But the refusal of the left to acknowledge how awful Obama was is why we have Trump. And you're going to have him for another 4 years if you have Biden in there. Biden won't make it to November because Hillary Clinton's already working her way to the top of that. And even if a Democrat were to win, beat Trump for some weird, crazy reason, all it means is 4 years from now, because after 4 years of a more neoliberal bullshit, the Democrats don't want to give you UBI in this next stimulus plan. In the middle of, they don't want to give it to you. They don't want to give you Medicare for all. Trump is fumbling around with this pandemic. He is the most beatable guy ever, but they won't do it because they refuse to call out. Bernie wouldn't do it. AOC wouldn't do it. Tulsi wouldn't even do it. They refuse to call out how awful Obama was. They refuse to do it. And all you need are statistics. 65,000 troops in Latin America. Gee, I wonder why so many of them want to leave their country and come here. Everyone's like, we need more border security. Here's what I would do if I was president. I'd stop sanctioning and bombing and sending fucking special ops troops down there to destroy everybody's homeland and their way of life. If there was a war, if you live in America and there was a civil war and bombing and another country was starting all this shit, you would have to pack your shit and walk 1,000 miles to get to Canada. Or to get to Mexico. You'd have to do that. Or get on a boat and hope you make it to Europe. Or Fiji or something like. You would have to do that if another country was doing to America what we do all over the world. Can you imagine how Americans would respond if China or Russia or Iran had 65,000 troops just in Mexico, that close to us? We would go fucking bananas. America would go bananas, would go nuts. People would be like, war, sign up. 10-year-old kids would be like, I'm joining the war effort. We would go bananas if another country did what we were doing. Obama and Biden were awful for 8 years. They dropped more bombs. They dropped more bombs than Bush. 90% of the casualties were civilians. So Obama and Biden only killed 10% of their targets. The other 90% were innocent civilians. Imagine if that's how. I live in Los Angeles, and let's just say they just start drone striking meth labs and gang houses and shit like that, and criminals. The Mexican mafia operates here, the Russian mafia. What if they just started drone striking? And they're like, we got the bad guys. Yeah, I mean, we got 10 bad guys, but 90 civilians, died. But hey, we got the bad. People would go bananas. People would be rioting. 6 million foreclosures, deported 3 million people. Built cages at the border. Hey, if you don't want to deport so many people, you don't want to have so many illegals in this country, maybe don't destroy their homeland. Because most people don't. Imagine if we spent all of this money, rather than blowing up the world and putting in dictators to get the resources, what if we just spent money down there to help? There's a crazy idea. What if America spent trillions of dollars just making the whole world great? If we helped build these countries up, no one would want to come to this country illegally. They want to stay home. Everyone wants to stay where they grew up for the most part. Why would you want to leave your family? Nobody gives you the truth. Like the Vigilante kids, you got to come to Gotham. You got to come to Gotham's side of town to get the truth. So shave your knuckles for justice. And you're all political vigilantes. And you have a job to get information and to wake your friends and family up to this. It's all of our responsibility. I voted for Obama twice. I thought he was fantastic. No, he wasn't. He let the banks steal my home. He drank water and said, oh, Flint water is fine. The water in Flint, Michigan, it's 2020, still contaminated 6 years later. Still contaminated. What happened in Standing Rock? Did Obama come in and get, no, he let it play out. He stopped it in December after Hillary lost, knowing full well a month later Trump was going to let it happen. That's Obama. Empty gestures, empty words. Joe Biden is a rapist with dementia. The lesser of two evils is still evil. Vote third party. Get these corrupt assholes out. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification button and the subscribe button, even if you've done it before, because they're unsubscribing, many of you, every day. Watch the ads all the way through. If you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Also, support us at patreon.com/GrahamElwood or rockfin.com/GrahamElwood. Rockfin.com is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. All my videos are on Rockfin ad-free. Thanks for watching.